Alright, today let's make the Sony XB40 speaker. So we're going to make something that looks a little bit like this. We're going to make sure these holes here are approximately 38 millimeters in diameter. We'll add a grill to the front. Probably make it about 100 millimeters wide, maybe about 50 millimeters in height. So let's get started. I've clicked on File, New, Metric, Standard Millimeter.ipt, and I clicked Create. Once that loads, you get this screen. Click on Start 2D Sketch. Select the XY plane. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, 2-point center. Select the center, go out. I'm going to use my keyboard to type in my sizes, 100. I'm using the Tab key on your keyboard. I'll type in 50. I zoom out, there's my overall size. Let's check my photo. Okay. Next I'll click Finish. I'll zoom out. I'm going to use my Extrude tool again. I'm going to pop it back now into basically the size I think it should be. So I'm going to make this one about 40 millimeters. Let's see what that looks like. Let's make that 50. Okay, now this would work right now, but if I want to have a back on it, I want to subtract about 5 millimeters to make my back. So I'm going to go back into here and add that to be 45 millimeters. At this point, I'm going to use my fillet tool. I'm going to fillet the corners. Let's check my photo. Okay, I might change the radius to be about 10 millimeters. It's a bit too big. Let's go with maybe 8. 8 looks good. And I'll also fillet the front edge. Let me make that 5. Okay, my next move is I'm going to create a sketch. Actually, I'm going to hollow out using my shell tool the back of my project. So I'm going to click the back face, and my thickness should be 3 millimeters. So now I got my hollow section. Okay, at this point, what I might do is I might think about how I want to do this. I might create a sketch on the back, and this is going to hold my speakers. So I'm going to make this about 40 millimeters, and this one here about 40 millimeters. Okay, and I'm going to add dimensions from the center to the edge, and I want that to be 20. From the circle to the edge, 20. From edge to edge here, I'll make that 45. And from there to this edge, make that 25. Let's see. It's not evenly spaced. Let's try 20. Okay, so we need halfway in between, 22.5. Okay, finish. I'm going to extrude those. Let's make those pop up about 4 millimeters. And this is what my speaker is going to rest on in the back. So now I'm going to create another sketch here. At this point, I'm going to use my circle tool, and 38 millimeters. This is the size of my speaker hole. Now if I want the two to be dead center, you can use this cool tool here called concentric. So you pick the outside of a circle, the inside circle, and it makes them dead center. Now I'm going to go extrude, pick these two circles, and I'm going to cut. So I'm going to make those ones pop out. Let's cut those ones. So I need them to go in 4 millimeters in, plus, let's go a bit more, let's go 5.5. So you can see my cutout. Okay, my next move, I'm going to create a sketch on the front. Using my rectangle tool, I'll click from here to the edge, finish, extrude. I'll cut that back about 1.5 millimeters. See, now I got this kind of interesting surface. Now what I can do with that is later on I can actually laser cut a grill that will fit in here. So it will look something like that one. So I'm going to leave that for now. I could probably add a fillet in this edge. That will make it look a bit nicer. I make those fillets there maybe size 10. Let's see what they look like. They look good. Okay. Now one thing I will probably change, let's double click on my extrusion 2 here. Let's go back into the sketch. Might make these about 42 millimeters each. What that's going to do, that'll make a bit of a thicker lip right there. That looks pretty good now. Okay, so that completes probably my first component. I'm going to add in now sketch my add on the top. I'm going to add in a rectangle here. I'm going to make it 6.5 is 19 is the width by 6.5 here, and I'm going to use my dimension tool. Let's space that. So if I make that 20 millimeters, that looks about nice. And I might make it from, when it's centered this way, you can try to use these tools here. The way they work is you click on a dot. Let's try that again. Click on a dot and another dot, and it should line them up together. Sometimes it doesn't work. Let's try this one. There we go. So I use this vertical dot, and I click this point and this point, and they line them up. So now I'll cut this out. Cut. Remember, it's 3 millimeters thick. There's my product so far. Okay, what's left to do? Need a charging port. So I might add that in. Let's go sketch. Where do I want to put that one? Let's put it on the side here. So I'm going to make this one here. So it needs to be about 1.5 millimeters thick and 19 mil in height. And I need to add another rectangle to this. This one here needs to be about 4 mil thick and about 8 mil wide. You can see they're not lined up, so let's try to use that cool tool here. Horizontal, so if I click on that green dot there, and this green dot here, see they now look like they're aligned. I can do the same trick again. I can click on this dot here. If I go down my edge of my product, here's the dot. Now it's aligned this way. And I'll add in dimension, so I want that to maybe be 4 millimeters off the back. Maybe make it 5. Okay, so let's use my extrude tool. Let's cut out my pieces. Cut. Alright, so I've got all my components. My speaker looks nice. That concludes kind of our first tutorial.